Now, about Elizabeth Warren, I really wanted to get this. By the way, let me just say, strong showing for Sanders is the front line on CNN right now. New Hampshire voters give the Vermont Senator lead as Buttigieg in for second. It's pretty much the state of the race right now. So we can probably play a little bit more for you from Biden's speech and also play a little bit of New Hampshire. I really want to talk about Elizabeth Warren, but the clips here are being a little bit uncooperative and could come on. Oh, here we go. So this is something that I do want to analyze and talk about by quite a bit. So this is the Elizabeth Warren speech here. She's given her speech, and it doesn't look like she's going to go out without a fight, shall we say.
Right now it is clear that Senator Sanders and Mayor Buttigieg had strong nights. And I also want to congratulate my friend and colleague, Amy Klobuchar, for showing just how wrong the pundits can be when they count a woman out. But since we are here tonight among family and friends, I also want us to be honest with ourselves as Democrats. We might be headed for another one of those long primary fights that lasts for months. We're 2 states in.
What I really don't like, and this seems to be, I think, for Warren, a big help and kind of a big really establishment type rhetoric from Warren here, talking about, we can't have a competitive primary. It's not really good. Everyone's going to be fighting. To all benefits, like the primary, tough primary has led to a tough competitor. A competitor who's ready to fight, who's ready to take on the incumbent or the member of the opposite party. And that's why I think tough primaries, they're not fun by any means, but they're important. Like, you gotta, like, it's an election. You gotta know who's who. Like, there's your candidates with passionate ideas, and you can't, like, I think the whole idea that, these people are behaving so badly is just unsubstantiated. Just absolutely unsubstantiated at this point. But let's see how she refers to these people who are making discord and disunity in the party.
With 55 states and territories to go, we still have 98% of our delegates for our nomination up for grabs, and Americans in every part of the country are going to make their voices heard. That's right. The question for us Democrats is whether it will be a long, bitter rehash of the same old divides in our party, or whether we can find another way.
Those divides need to be settled.
Senator Sanders and Mayor Buttigieg are both great people, and either one of them would be a far better president than Donald Trump. I respect them both. But the fight between factions in our party has taken a sharp turn in recent weeks, with ads mocking other candidates and with supporters of some candidates shouting curses at other Democratic candidates. These harsh tactics might work if you are willing to burn down the rest of the party in order to be the last man standing. They might work if you don't worry about leaving our party and our politics worse off than how you found it. And they might work if you think only you have all the answers and only you are the solution to all our problems. But if we're going to beat Donald Trump in November, we are going to need huge turnout within our party.
Who do you think this could all be aimed at? That's what I'm wondering. Like, who do we think this could all be aimed at? And this whole idea that people are yelling at each other. It's so bad. I just want to cover my ears and go away. Like, guys, this is not good. Like, this is all, I think this is about somebody, and I think it's about Bernie Sanders. I mean, but still, the point is, it is a quite disturbing sentiment when you see this coming out here and this kind of distribution of votes that has been really in this distribution of, and this kind of change in the Warren campaign from being someone that it's like, we're going to dream big, we're going to fight hard, we're going to take on the establishment, to, guys, let's not be too loud, I'm scared, guys. It's not good and does not portend well for Bernie Sanders when Elizabeth Warren drops out. We'll talk about Biden in a minute, but I just do want to finish the rest of Elizabeth Warren's speech here for 40 more seconds.
And to get that turnout, we will need a nominee that the broadest coalition of our party feels like they can get behind. We cannot afford to fall into factions. We can't afford to squander our collective power. We win when we come together.
All right, so that is Elizabeth Warren's speech. And I think, what is she up to? That's what really makes me think here. But I think just basically, if you want to do kind of most chill read possible of it, I think what you could say is what she's really trying to do is just calm people down. And she's trying to say that she's the one to reunite Democrats, fracture those, because there's a lot of people in the Democratic Party who say, we're being a little bit too loud, we're being a little bit too mean. A lot of people, especially in the donor class, who think that, and that could be very, very appealing to those people. And I think that'll help for Elizabeth Warren. But these attacks on Bernie, and by saying, what I really don't like is the attacks on Bernie and trying to paint the message that, he is somebody who is misrepresentative of, he's someone who takes support from a super PAC or has a billionaire supporting them, or is a millionaire themselves. What? I just don't like the way that's being framed there from Elizabeth Warren, because that, I think that shows she's trying to get something across there, and making an attack. I think a very disingenuous attack on Elizabeth Warren. So that's something worth watching. I think definitely. It is only anyone's guess where she could go and where this race will go in a second. But something I think we should definitely digest is not Dana Bash, but Joe Biden. He's been very, very bad. This is a clip from Dana Bash talking about just how bad Joe Biden is.
Network.
And it's not pretty. It just is not pretty. And it looks like, by the way, Amy Klobuchar is about to speak as well. So let's see if who'll let you know if she says anything interesting. As Bernie Sanders now had to flip a coin in the New York Times forecast. He's 26.8% to 23.6%. He's lost about 2 percentage points, 3.2 with 40% of the precincts reporting in the New York Times poll there. But on CNN, we'll say how it is over on CNN with around 49%, 27.3 to 23.5. So that is 2.8 right there. That's the message right there from Bernie Sanders. All right, let's talk about this Biden performance here. It's very interesting.
More illustrative of the kind of night Vice President Biden is having than the fact that his party in South Carolina does not even have a TV for people to watch.
Or that he's in South Carolina.
Or that he's in South Carolina, too. That's the other detail. But he does have an argument to make that last poll I saw, he was at 49% in the African-American community, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg was at 0% in the African-American community. That was a Q poll nationwide. And he does have a path forward in the sense that he does well with African-American voters, and that's 60% of the electorate in South Carolina in the Democratic primary.
He does, but even in that poll, I was just looking at it, he's lost a lot of the share of the black vote, which he had earlier on, because that has always been what his campaign called his firewall, because they didn't anticipate him doing well in the first two states.
This is Dr. Jill Biden, his wife, coming out and speaking to supporters.
And so we expect the former vice president to come out any minute. But I think we just also have to take a moment and just digest the fact that a former two-term vice president of the United States didn't even place, it looks like, we're not done yet, but it looks like he's headed towards not even placing in the top 4.
Right.
I mean, getting single digits of support, not even getting enough support to get one delegate from New Hampshire. I mean, that is stunning. Now, he, at least at the end, set himself up for that by starting the debate, as you mentioned, with Arlette at the last debate, which everybody in New Hampshire who I talked to was watching, by saying that they wouldn't support him. But still, it is by far one of the biggest storylines of the night, despite the fact that his campaign worked very hard to set expectations at these levels.
No one has ever come in 4th in Iowa and 5th in New Hampshire and then gone on to get the nomination.
Just saying there. Very, very interesting stuff with Joe Biden, because you need the momentum. Like, Joe Biden, he's just done. I'm sorry, he's done. It is not looking good for him at all. Thank you so much again for listening to our live coverage tonight. We will continue, but first, we are going to take a little bit of a, thinking about taking a little bit of a music break here. But first, we'll give you the latest on what he's saying. The amazing Joe Biden quote. I do love New Hampshire. I mean it. Yeah. And I think the possibility of a Clobo surge is something that we could be looking at here. It's very, very interesting. Buttigieg and Sanders now leaves Buttigieg by 3.1 percentage points, with 43% of the precincts reporting over at the New York Times. But at CNN with 50% in, let's reset this field. Bernie Sanders, he leads right now with 27.3% of the vote. 23.5% of it is going to go to Pete Buttigieg, followed by 19.6% for Amy Klobuchar, 9.3% for Elizabeth Warren. That is your top 4. Biden hanging on at number 5. So that's where we stand, with half exactly of the results, and we'll keep you posted on all of that. And yeah, Biden literally just coming in. He stresses that 2 of the states have voted so far, and that the vast majority of black and Latino voters have not yet spoken. And that he says, I hope you guys love me as much as I love you guys. When I die, I want to be reborn in Charleston, baby. So you can tell he's hamming up that South Carolina, South Carolina connection there, because boy does he need to stay alive in this race. If he just win South Carolina, I mean, I think at this point you just want to drop out right now. Like, you really just want to drop out right now. Yeah, so that's what we are following right now, and get an idea of what's going on. Yeah, so is there any kind of interest? Let's see if there's, let's do a little bit of a clip watch. Let's do a clip check here. See if there's anything interesting going on the, we don't have any fun new clips for you yet, but we will be keeping an eye on that. Looks like Amy Klobuchar is also about to speak over in New Hampshire. We'll be carrying that speech for you as she goes. Looks like Steyer, though, is actually beating engineering at this point in time. Let's see, 51% in, 27.2 to 23.5. That lead for Bernie is dwindling. But we'll keep an eye on it for you. Yeah, so it looks like Biden is a little bit behind. 10 minutes till Klobuchar warning over in New Hampshire and Concord has the crowd there amped up. The question is, can she perform better in other states? I don't know, but this could be an interesting night for her to see how it goes on. And I think the biggest thing about this race is how Iowa shaped it, because we didn't have these full results coming in yet. But the fact is that Pete Buttigieg, some technical definitive winner in Iowa, like the things are being still challenged by the Sanders campaign, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is, they really have Pete Buttigieg capitalized quite brilliantly in this campaign. He's been on all the media. He's been pushing. Yes, I won the Iowa caucuses. The media coverage of him hasn't hurt. And that, the results are obvious. He's surged. Like, he's gotten up incredibly high on this podium. So incredibly high on this in this New Hampshire position. So it looks like we have Amy Klobuchar going.
Walking. No.